Not the biggest pure enforcer, not the meanest, but in the modern NHL, nobody strikes more fear than Tom Wilson. 6 foot 4 inches, 225 pounds of pure Capitals muscle. Drafted 16th overall in 2012, still terrorizing opponents in 2026. He's scored 20-plus goals multiple times and lifted the Stanley Cup in 2018. But opponents don't fear the goals. They fear the hits that rattle teeth, the fights he wins against heavyweights, the way he protects Ovechkin and the Stars. Most fighters drop the gloves and move on. Tom Wilson lives on the edge and makes everyone else live in fear of it. Wilson isn't a goon. He's a power forward who can actually play. Multiple 20-goal seasons, elite skating for his size, heavy shot, playoff performer. But his real weapon is physicality. Over 50 career fights according to hockeyfights.com. Rookie year 2013-14, he fought 14 times. He wins most of them with reach, power, and willingness to fight anyone. Heavyweights, skilled guys, whoever. Caps fans love him. Opponents hate him. League offices have suspended him 7 times. That combination, skill plus controlled violence, is why he's the most feared player of his generation. And that fear started early. Wilson announced himself fast. 14 fights in 2013-14 alone. Became the protector for Ovechkin and the young core immediately. Key early tilts: Blake Coleman, Eric Gudbranson, Luke Schenn, Pat Maroon. By 2017-18, he had another massive fighting season. 14 more fights while the Caps went on their cup run. He wasn't just throwing hands, he was setting a tone. Then came game number 7, May 23, 2018, Eastern Conference Final, Game 7, Washington Capitals versus Tampa Bay Lightning. First period, scrum around the Tampa Bay goal. Braden Coburn ripped Evgeny Kuznetsov's jersey off and tossed it to the ice. Tom Wilson wasn't having it. He tried to charge Coburn immediately. Refs held him back. Both players received matching 2-minute minors for unsportsmanlike conduct. They sat in the penalty box, staring at each other, planning. The moment the penalty box doors opened, Wilson skated directly to Coburn's box. Gloves dropped instantly. Wilson grabbed Coburn's sweater, landed a series of right-handed hooks. Coburn tried to retaliate. Wilson punched Coburn's helmet clean off his head. Nearly 30 seconds of exchanging fists before both went to the ice. Matching 5-minute fighting majors, 7 consecutive minutes in the box for both players, in a Game 7. HockeyFights.com rated it a 7.42 out of 10, one of the highest-rated fights ever. Wilson dominated with power shots, bloodied his own knuckles badly, but he sent a message. The Capitals won the game 4-0, won the series, eventually won the Cup. This fight became legendary. Proof Wilson would go to war in the biggest moments. You protect the Stars, you answer for disrespect, even in Game 7. That's the code, and Wilson enforces it better than anyone. But he wasn't done proving it. November 20th, 2019, Washington versus New York Rangers. Wilson delivered a big hit. Brandon Lemieux challenged him immediately. Wilson accepted and delivered a beating. Lemieux left with a nasty black eye. Fight rated 7.24 out of 10. Showed Wilson's willingness to fight skilled agitators, not just pure heavyweights. Claude Lemieux's son learned what everyone else already knew. You don't challenge Tom Wilson unless you're ready for what comes next. The fear factor was growing, season after season, fight after fight, and then came the chaos nobody expected. April 25th, 2025, Game 3 of the playoffs, Washington versus Montreal Canadiens. Scrum spilled over near the Capitals bench. Josh Anderson and Wilson started throwing punches. Anderson fell backwards onto the Capitals bench. Wilson kept going. Fighting inside the bench, players scrambling, both benches cleared, pure playoff mayhem. Officials finally separated them. Both players ejected. One of the wildest bench fights in recent NHL history. Went viral instantly. Even in 2025, Wilson wasn't slowing down. Still dropping gloves in his 30s, 2024-25 and 2025-26, multiple fights per season. February 2nd, 2026, fought Scott Mayfield, clean, powerful bout. Preseason 2025, fought Eric Gudbranson again. Even fought internationally at the 2026 Olympics exhibition versus Pierre Crinon, proving the fear travels beyond the NHL. Teammates still say opponents think twice before running the Capitals stars because of Wilson. Alternate captain now, leader in the locker room, still the enforcer on the ice. The fear hasn't faded, it's evolved. But with that fear comes consequences. 7 suspensions total, more than most pure fighters in the modern era. Big ones. 20 games in 2018 for an illegal hit on Oscar Sundqvist. Boarding, preseason, reduced to 14 games on appeal. 7 games in 2021 for boarding Brandon Carlo. High, dangerous hit. 6 games in 2024 for a high stick on Noah Gregor. Reckless play. Opponents fear him because he plays on that razor edge. Heavy legal hits that sometimes cross the line. That unpredictability is what makes him truly feared. He'll protect you, he'll fight for you, but he might also get suspended doing it. And somehow that makes him even more dangerous. Every era, the same story. Protects the stars, wins fights against anyone, lives on the edge, suspensions included. Evolves from rookie enforcer to veteran power forward who still drops gloves in 2026. Rivalries with the Flyers, Rangers, Canadiens, Lightning. Wilson has fought them all, usually won. Blake Coleman, Braden Coburn, Brendan Lemieux, Josh Anderson, Scott Mayfield, Eric Gudbranson. Different opponents, same result. Wilson standing, opponent rethinking their life choices. The modern NHL doesn't have many pure enforcers left. The role is dying. But Tom Wilson adapted, became a 20-goal scorer who can still beat you up. That's why he's feared, not just because he fights, because he does everything. Tom Wilson isn't the most suspended player in NHL history. He's not the biggest heavyweight, he's not even the dirtiest hitter. But in today's NHL, where pure enforcers are rare, he's the most feared. Size, skill, willingness to fight in Game 7 or on the bench. And that edge that gets him suspended. Old school fans say he's the last of a dying breed. Modern fans call him the perfect modern power forward / enforcer hybrid. Both are right. He scored 20 goals in 2023-24, played over 80 games, contributed on both ends. Then dropped the gloves and fought Scott Mayfield because someone needed to answer for a hit on a teammate. That's Tom Wilson. Always has been, always will be. He makes opponents look over their shoulder every shift. Wonder if this is the shift he drops the gloves. Wonder if this is the shift he delivers the hit that ends your night. That's fear. And in the modern NHL, nobody does it better. If you want more stories about the players who made the NHL impossible to ignore, stick around. We've got plenty more coming. And leave a comment. Is Tom Wilson the most feared fighter in the NHL right now, or is there someone scarier?